Season's greetings from Tracy here with another video for Trinity Stamps celebrating our Tag a Day series. I hope you enjoy. We're going to be making these shaker gift card tags. Let's go. All right, so first of all, I'm just going to do some quick foiling. I'm just warming up my foiling plate, and I will have the whatever I use listed down below. And I'm just foiling on some shiny pink paper with some aura colored foil, and I'm going to foil quite a few, but I'm just showing this one so you can see how this shiny paper foils and what a wonderful foiling plate this one is. And you can see the tree there off to the left of me. I'll also be foiling that on this shiny paper. Isn't this just gorgeous? Beautiful. Okay, we'll be using that plus some others. And here are some tags that I've already made for samples. So this one I use the tiny donut dippers, and it has the gift card tag. This one does not. That one was handmade and hand cut. And here's another one with the tree and the little for you that comes with the shaker tag, or the gift card tag die set. Here are the other ones I foiled, by the way. And I'll just open this one up. This is an already spent gift card. Dude, I can't hang on to a gift card. Come on now. But that's how these work, which is super cool, but it is thin enough you could, it's just not super thick because it's a flat shaker. So we're going to work with the pink here. And we're going to go ahead and grab a couple of dies from the Zip Gift Tag. I can spit that out, I promise. And I'm just going to be using the main die and the zipper for these particular tags, but you can use them all if you want to. And you're going to cut actually 3, not 2. I don't know why I said 2. Well, I need to cut 2 more. One out of a fairly thin paper. I think the darker blue I have is 65 pound. And then one that's going to show. It's going to be on the back, because we're going to need to back our shaker tag. So I'll grab my cutting machine, and also we need to cut these little grommet thingies. You don't need to, but it's not going to look that wonderful without them, because part of the reason that they're there is to make sure that the shaker bits don't fall out the hole. So what I have here is just a piece of copy paper. I don't know how much copy paper weighs. It's, thin, as you can see. And I'm just chopping off a piece of it. And I'm going to take some of my double-sided adhesive, and I'm going to show you 2 ways that you can do this. Depending on your supplies. Now, I happen to have a huge roll of this stuff. And so I'm going to use it, and I'm going to just lay my paper down into it. And I need it on both sides. And the reason we're using a thinner, see, I start to cut it and I think, why don't I just fold it? Then I don't have to deal with sticky scissors. The reason we're using really thin paper is so that you can cut through this, because the actual kind of glue on these things along with the backer can tend to be kind of thick and difficult to cut. So we only need the sticky parts of this. So that's all I'm going to use this one for, and I'll show you another way you can do this if you only have, say, 1/4-inch tape, which is what's typically in our craft rooms. Even 1/8 inch, whatever size. So I'm just going to make sure this is burnished down. And I happen to have a die in my stash that cuts these, but say you don't, you can use a circle punch, or if you have one of these little punches, you can punch it out. It's a little bit of a war sometimes punching these, though, because they don't come out the bottom. I don't understand how these things were built. I feel like it should come out the bottom, but for whatever reason it doesn't. But it'll still punch, and then it'll get stuck in there, and then you'll get your tweezers and try and get it out. I can see it in there, so it's just sort of sitting there. It's not the glue paper didn't come off or anything. It's just there, right there. So you could also take a circle punch and then another punch and punch inside of it. You just want to make sure that if you do that, that all your punched holes are kind of in the same place. So that's why it's handy to have a die. So another way you can do this, and this is the second piece, and it only needs to be covered on one side with tape. And that's just to lay your tape down just as big as your die, or whatever piece you're cutting, however you're cutting it. and then you're going to cut on the right side, so the side that doesn't have the tape is going to be your top side. And there you have this piece that only has tape on one side. So you've got one with tape on two sides and one with tape on one side. And that's just to kind of cover the look of things, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. So we'll go ahead and die cut this piece now because it's ready to go. And I'm just going to use my little desk die cutter here to get that cut out. And you'll have to pardon the state of my magnetic mat. I don't know. Yeah, I see a lot of crafters and theirs are all pretty and pristine. Nah, I beat the crud out of mine. So I've got the one, and that's going to be my main front piece. And then I've got my lighter back piece and then my cover back piece, so to speak. And then I'm going to take that zipper portion and cut that zipper portion out. And it doesn't matter which way you go, left to right or right to left. It's just a matter of preference. All right, so let's get... I've got this bag full. Here we are. And it's all of my wrappers from products that I receive. I save in this thing for this very purpose. Or maybe other purposes. Who knows? You know, ink smushing, whatever. But what you want to do is you want to cut a piece that is about a ½ inch larger than your piece. And don't worry, I'm just using that piece as a template. I'm not going to put a shaker on that side. You could, but it'd be kind of strange. I don't know. So I'm just going to cut my plastic out. And I don't mind if it's too big, but you definitely don't want it too small. And I'll end up with two pieces here because this is a bag, obviously. So I'll just set the other piece aside for another time and try and pick it up. It's kind of hard to pick up off of that kind of rubber mat surface, but here's where your double-sided tape's going to come in. So you're going to pull the backer off one side of that tape. And if you use like strips of tape, it's easier because you can see in between the strips. But since I've used a full sheet, I'm having a heck of a time getting in between here. So I'm going to try and get what's left of that thumbnail in there and try and pull just one side of the backer off. I don't want to pull both sides off just yet. There we go. I'm going to flip it around and I'm going to tape it down. And the hole is a little bit bigger. You can enlarge the hole or don't worry about it. I don't worry about it because I'm sticking ribbons in there. So I've stuck that down to my main piece, and now I've pulled the backer off, and I'm going to go ahead and stick my little piece of acetate down onto there and burnish it really well, and that'll keep little bits of your shaker bits from coming out. So that's the main trick to that. And just make sure it's well burnished down, and now you can see why you would want to cover it. So what I do next is I take about 3 gift cards and I kind of place them in here, and what that's doing is creating a spacer so I don't get my shaker too flat, because I don't want it too flat. I want to be able to put, you know, little balls and stuff in there. And let me zoom in here for you a bit so you can see what I'm doing, because it's kind of hard to see. So I'm going to take and I'm going to start at the top. And I've got a 1/4 inch tape here, and I'm just going to lay tape down along the straight edge of the top. Burnish it down, pull the backer off, and then I'm going to fold the top over. Sometimes I have to grab my tweezers because my fingers just don't want to grab. So I'm just folding it over just like that. And kind of burnishing those sides down a little bit. They don't like to burnish real well, but that's okay. They don't need to. It just is a little helpful. Now I'm going to do these little coffin corners here and do the same thing. Burnish them down. Then I'm going to pull the backer off, and I'm going to fold this piece over until it's touching, till the sides are touching the tag itself. So kind of like wrapping a present or folding, you know, a t-shirt. So see, we've got a nice space going on in there, and I'm just going to kind of burnish that down a little bit with my tweezers. It won't burnish a lot. You do want to make sure when you're laying your tape down that that piece is flat though. Then I'm going to lay my tape down and burnish it down, And then just pull the tape and fold this next piece over. And then I'll do the same on the other side. This couldn't be easier, friends, other than trying to grab that stuff. There we go. So now I can shake my little Amazon cards out of there, and I've got nice space within there, and that's stuck down really well, so I don't have to worry about my shaker bits coming out the top. Then I take my little decorative piece, pull the backer off, and plop it right down, and there, you'd never know. Now all we need to do is fill it up. And I'm going to grab a few different things. I like to do a nice little mix. So I've got these little, I never can remember the name of these little ball things, but I sure do love them. I have most of them. I will list it in the description box because my mouth doesn't want to say the words. So I've got a blue, some turquoise colored, I've got some red colored, and then I've got my little tidy tray. I'm just going to dump into my tidy tray so it's easier to dump within the packet. We'll get these little blue ones in. And then I've got these little pink flat ones from my stash. And then I think I'm going to grab some sparkle spots too. I do know the name of those. I think they're called pops. Gosh, I'm sorry, brain. I'm just going to dump all these in here. And now I'm going to lay it down, and I'm going to make sure that it stayed laid down. I probably should have put my tape on beforehand. Because otherwise those little balls, shaker pops, will roll out. I got it, yay! Then I'll just pull this back, and then we're just going to fold this over. And yes, there's a little couple of ears hanging over. Just trim them off. But don't trim all the way to the corner because you don't want any holes. So you could even put glitter in this. It is airtight. So this piece is to cover that up because you're going to be putting a gift card inside. You don't want you don't want all that acetate showing through. So I'm using again my double-sided tape, and I'm just taping all the edges right at the edge. And I just rip with my finger. You can cut if you want to, but and then see there where it's hanging over a little, I'm going to just, once I've pulled the backer off, I'm just going to push it up with my tweezers. Then I'm going to pull the top 3 edges off. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to just kind of lay it and match it up and move it around until it's even with the front piece. And then just stick down the top, and then I can pull these other pieces off and stick the rest down. It can be fiddly sometimes, but it's worth it because it stays stuck and you can get your item right into place. So there we've got that back. It's ready to go now, but we're going to kick it up a notch and make a gift card holder out of it because we have the die, and why not? So the first thing you want to do, and I'm going to use liquid glue. You can use tape if you want, but you want to use a fairly narrow tape. And you're going to glue the 3 sides and then leave that just one spot open on the 4th side. And then put your gift card in and glue everything down. And here's where, if you don't have a fast grabbing glue, you just need to be patient and kind of just keep pressing around until the glue takes hold. So the glue I happen to be using isn't a super fast stick. And I like that because it gives me a chance to move things around. But I do want to make sure this is all good and stuck down. And I'm just kind of moving my shaker bits as I go so that I can get a better press with my, between my thumb and my finger without a little shaker pop getting in my way. All right, that's ready to go. Now all we have left to do is decorate. And I'm going to use the springtime gnomes because you can. These guys are great for everything. And then I've got the tiny coffee cups. I've got the little tree gnome. I'm going to use a gift for you from that. And let's go ahead and I've already pre-cut everything, so we'll go ahead and put our little gnome together. And I cut just a little circle with one of my punches for a topper for that hat so that it could be like a Santa hat or a winter hat. So you can see how it's going to go. And I put some stickles. It's kind of hard to see. I put some stickles on the beard so that it would be shiny and sparkly. So we'll put the beard down first. Yeah, you can make these gnomes any occasion you want. You know, put a present in his hand and it's Christmas. You know, a Christmas present in his hand or a candy cane. Love, love, love this set. If you don't ever buy anything and you like gnomes, get this set because it's going everywhere all the time. It's timeless. That's all I'm going to say on it. You can use it forever. So we need to get his little hat going now. And I gave him a red nose, by the way, friends, because, I don't know, I just thought it'd be fun. And I'm going to go ahead and try and move stuff out of your way so it doesn't look so distracting there. I'll go ahead and lay the hat down. And then I think I'm going to lay my mustache down, but it turns out I almost forgot to add the rim of the hat. And that needs to go on before the mustache. Love this mustache. This little guy is so cute. So I'll put some little glue on the mustache, but then I'll set it down when I realize, wait a minute, don't put that on yet. Wait, don't do it yet. No, no, no. You need to put the rim hat on. Okay, no problem. We'll get that down. And that's, you know, part of what it's going to make it look like a, you know, Santa hat. Little white rim. You could put stickles along that too and add dimension if you wanted to. I didn't at this time, but I have. So there's that. We'll put this little ball on the top of the hat. Kind of adjust it around until it feels like it's sitting in the right place. You have to guess because it doesn't go with it, but there we go. Now we can put down the mustache. And it was just perfect timing because it had time for that glue to get tacky. So I did that on purpose. No. All right, what's next? What's next? We're going to do his little red nose. And I am going to pop the nose up a little, so I'm going to grab a foam circle. And I struggle with these. And they're useful once you get them out of there. Come on, get on out. There we go. Get that stuck down. See the backers come off of him. And I'll just put his nose just right there between his mustache and his little hat. So cute. Now I'm going to grab the little feet and I'm just going to set them on my work area and put glue on them and then set the little gnome down right on top of them. And then adjust them after that. So that's the other benefit of a liquid glue that doesn't grab right away. Is it gives you just a few seconds to kind of wiggle things around a bit. More than a few. More than, you know, your Barely Arts or your art glitter glue. There we go. And now he's going to be holding a cup of coffee because he's me and I love coffee. And then his little hands will be holding the coffee mug. Perfect. And I decided to make him a coffee mug that matches the back of the tag, which is that kind of little Swiss dot looking paper from my stash. So I'll glue the cup down and then just glue the little hands down. And all the rest of the tags I did off camera because it takes a while just to show you how to do the shaker portion. Once you get that down, you can decorate this thing in a million different ways. Okay, we'll get his other hand holding that mug. Let's see, how should he be holding it? Right about here. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now we're just going to stick him down onto the tag, and I'm going to decide where I want him on the tag. And I think I want him over to the right because the little top part of his hat kind of tips off just right so that you you see a lot of the shaker bits and it doesn't block the kind of tag hole. And I'm going to use tape to stick him down. You could use glue if you wanted to, but then you have to wait for it to dry. So once I got this guy down, I want him to stay down. So I'll just put some tape on his back, and then I'm going to put a little tape on his little pom-pom on the top of his head there. And it's going to stick out a little, but you can just fold it back in on itself once you've peeled off the backer. So I'll go ahead and take the backer off and then just move that little piece that's sticking out right back into itself. Easy peasy. And this way, this thing's stuck right away, and it's going to stick. It'll come up if you pull hard enough. I'm hoping that people aren't yanking too hard on the stuff. But, I mean, if it's glued, it's going to come off if you yank too hard on it, too, because it's stuck to acetate. Has a better chance of staying stuck with tape. And I'm going to have him off to the side a little. Tags don't have to be perfectly symmetrical. They're just meant to be cute. There's the back. Still shakes around. Can still see the shaker bits. Now we just need to do our sentiment and our ribbons. So I'm going to stamp off camera the gift for you and cut it out with the coordinating die cut. And you don't have to. You can just cut it out in a square if you want to. But even that little tree gnome would be adorable on one of these tags. Any one of them, any one of them. Okay, so I've got that ready to go, and I stamped that kind of in a turquoisey blue, and I'm going to tape that down as well with just a little piece of tape. And you can see I've got all kinds of fun ribbons and notions sitting next to me, and I'm going to put them all on here. It'll be a fight, but it's worth it. So there's some lines inside the tag, and I'm able to line that up perfectly with the lines. So I want this to be kind of rustic looking as far as the tags go. Now you need to take and poke a hole there to get anything through there. I'm going to see what I can get through in the first go without having to push anything. Okay, I can get the red one through. Let's see, can I get the silver one through? So if I can't, I just take something pokey and poke it through and then grab it on the other side with my tweezers. So there's that one, but once you start getting those through, you can enlarge the hole, like I said, if you have a hole punch that'll do that. Now this one's going to be a little bit trickier to get in because I am so full in there. So I'm going to stick my tweezers through the other side and just leave them to the point where they're just open a tiny bit, and then just kind of slide carefully slide this ribbon in between the tweezers and then pull it through. There we go. Whew. So worth it though, isn't that cute? And then I've got this piece of sari ribbon, and I'm going to tie it into a bow. Just make sure everything's nice and tight on the top before I tighten down my bow. And you can tie it in a knot, tie it in a bow, however you want to do it. But there we go. And then I can just trim off the funky edges there. Or you can leave them if you want to. And I need to trim off, obviously, that piece that frayed. You can use some anti-fray stuff if you want, or add a little bit of glue to the tip if you want to. So lastly, I'm going to add some glossy accents to his nose and to his coffee cup, and he will be done. I hope you try this out, and just remember that sometimes the seasonal things you buy are not just for that season. You can use them any way you want. And I hope you guys are enjoying our Tag a Day series. So much fun. Because you need tags for presents. And, even if you don't use it for a gift, you can throw it on a card. It looks cool. So there's that too. So here's this guy. His stickles is obviously still wet. And here are the 4 that I have done. I hope you like this video. Please give us a thumbs up if you do. And leave a comment in the comment section below. Tell us what you think. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.